Joining us now, Denver Riggleman. Hey, Denver, good to have you with us, man.
Hey, good morning, John. You know, nobody's officially announced yet, so we'll see. We just started a leadership pack for all of the candidates in the 5th District and beyond. I just sent out my first slug of money to candidates, $17,000. I'm hoping to do that again. So I'm trying to raise money. We got to win the 2019 election, so I am concentrating on that right now. And I'm not too worried, John. You know, I'm just not too worried.
Well, look, Denver, that's what you should be doing, is focusing. Everybody right now, all hands on deck, should be focusing on 2019. This thing is going to be very, very close. The Senate I'm already saying that the Republicans are not going to maintain control of that. That's just my prediction. The House is 50-50, and there's about 8 or 10 seats that could go either way. Why you wouldn't be spending time as a Republican in Virginia trying to help those districts instead of worrying about censoring conservative Republican congressman? Denver is beyond me. Let's get to Pelosi's impeachment clown show. That's basically what it is right now. Your colleague in the 9th District, Morgan Griffith, yesterday, in no uncertain terms, said that he didn't believe that Pelosi right now had the votes in the House for impeachment. True or false?
I think Morgan's correct. I believe that they can talk a good game about publicly coming out for a vote, but I just don't think a vote's going to come to the floor for impeachment. I think they're going to try to roll this out. I believe they've combined the Mueller strategy with the Kavanaugh strategy. And after 2.5 years of Mueller, it's pretty interesting. We don't hear about that. And Ben Klein and I had a joint town hall last night, and really the questions we got were on impeachment. Weren't about, you know, should he be impeached? Is like, does impeachment get in the way of Congress actually doing their job? You know, we had discussion on trade, immigration, USMCA. We talked Japan trade deals, opioids, rural broadband, John. I think right now, there's a level of an exhaustion, I would say in the 5th District, just tired of hearing about impeachment. And here's what they say. Here we go again. That's really what they say. And Morgan has a good point. It's going to be interesting to see if they want to make this transparent, if they want to go all the way, if they want to open the whole aperture to do this. I think Morgan and I both, Ben Klein, Rob Whitman, we'd all say go for it. If you think you did something wrong, go for it, because we've already seen what happened during the Mueller report. Let's see if you have real evidence, and I just don't think they're going to take that vote.
I was not at your town hall meeting last night, Denver, that you combined with Ben Klein. Was it an open town hall? Could anybody come in if they register? Democrats, Republicans,
yes.
Anybody?
Anybody.
Did you have open mic, or was it one of those things where you had to submit questions via index card?
Well, we had index card, but we allowed them to ask the questions. Our issue was how many people showed up. It was a packed house, and we also had, I would say, 7 or 8 media outlets there. I don't know what they were expecting, but we took the impeachment questions. We took every question that came up in order on those cards, and we didn't shy away from any of it. And I think you can't shy away from any questions that are legitimate. As you know, John, some of these town halls are just exposés for the crazy, you know, that want to come out and scream. But we had a very good town hall last night, because even though there were those who might have disagreed with us, and even those that agreed with us, there was no really heckling or catcalling or anything like that. It was genuinely pretty good.
So are you saying there was not an outcry for impeachment?
No, there wasn't. And even talking to people, I stayed with the crowd afterwards and talked to people. Even had a Democrat come up to me, and she said, listen, I'm new to the area. I'm a registered Democrat, but I really like what you had to say. And she said, you know, you're really common sense, you know, and I think that's what people are looking for now. We have this polarized national press that run polls that are slanted, or they try to word things in a way that you're not quite sure what they mean. I think people are looking for facts, common sense, and to get things done. And I believe the impeachment thing, at this point, it's getting the way now. And you think about it, John, you were just talking about the 2019 elections. You know, I agree with you violently. And the 2020 elections, if we don't have a vote on USMCA, surprise billing, prescription drug prices, all that by January, we're into re-election season. And nothing's going to get done in a presidential year. So I really am frustrated that we haven't got some of these real significant pieces of legislation to the floor.
Well, let's talk about some of the domestic issues that should go to the floor, Denver Riggleman, and then we'll go to the international scene, and then back to impeachment. We'll end with that. One of the things that I'm very interested in right now, obviously, is USMCA. It's going to affect a lot of people in your district, as well as Virginians as a whole. Secretary of Agriculture Sonny Perdue came and visited the 5th district. He was in the 7th district. I mean, these are jobs. This is opportunity for people. We have a bill. It's just sitting there. When is Pelosi and the Democratic machine there that controls the House, when are they going to let USMCA come out to the floor?
I don't think they can now. Why? I think because I think they're so embroiled in putting politics over people right now. I just don't think they can see the forest for the trees when it comes to real legislation. And so, USMCA dovetails into other things, right? And Sonny Perdue, you were talking about Sonny, right? Coming here
right.
As the Secretary of Agriculture. You know what happened because of that? We started an Agriculture Advisory Committee with him, and we became the 13th state, and I led the letter on the Republican side. We became the 13th state to get hemp crop insurance, which could be billions of dollars in revenue.
Billions.
It's transformational.
Billions.
It's transformational. And I am very happy with that. That's when you can do good things in Congress, is when you have common sense issues. You work across the aisle, and you go to the USDA, and you say, Sonny Perdue, come to my district, and you become a real congressman, right? You don't become Twitter and Facebook famous. So USMCA, they're looking at, I don't know, I think they're so interested in getting reelected, they've forgotten that they actually serve people. And I have only been a congressman for 9 months, and looking at what's happening to our party, look at what's happening to the fractures everywhere based on, bizarre ideological litmus tests everywhere. And it's the far left, it's the far right. I think we're forgetting that there's 80% of the people are going to work every day and just wondering what the hell is going on out there and why things that should be easy aren't getting done, John. And it's just incredible to me as a new congressman to look around and see this happening. But I expected it. I just didn't expect it to be this polarized and this vitriolic. It's really been an astounding learning case for me.
It appears to the average person, Denver, that anything that would benefit that would benefit Americans that could be tied back to President Trump, the Democrats are just going to stand in the way, as you say, putting politics ahead of helping people. And I think you're going to have to answer for this. We mentioned USMCA. One other thing that I'm all over right now, because I've gotten just a plethora of texts and emails from people, is these surprise medical bills, which are really harming families. I mean, they're putting them in the debt. Salaries are getting garnished. Bank accounts getting garnished. And there was a bill put in by Ruiz and my friend Paul Rowe, doctor from Tennessee, great guy, been on my show many times, called Protecting People from Surprise Medical Bills Act. This is a bipartisan bill. I mean, it had a bunch of Democrats and Republicans signing on to it, and it basically is going to hold the insurance companies accountable for no more of these surprise billings and get the patient out of the middle of it. And where is that?
No, I'm a co-sponsor on that bill, John. And,
yes, I know that. That's why I brought it up.
Yeah, and I'm, I talk to people on the floor, and like I've told you before, I'm not. When I say I talk to moderate Democrats, I do, and they're surprised also that bill hasn't come to the floor. What you find out is the complete power that the Democratic leadership has over the caucus is really, it's breathtaking. They will toe the line. So here we have a no surprise billing bill that is transparent. It's bipartisan. It makes sense. It's real. Won't see the light of day. And I hope it won't see the light of day if this impeachment inquiry is sucking the oxygen out of anything that can be done on the floor, and it's sucking the oxygen out of the committees, because every time we go to committee, John, you know what they want to talk about? President Trump. They don't want to talk about financial services issues, banks, regulatory issues, illicit finance, counterterrorism, all the things that I'm responsible for. They want to go back and make it political, John. And I got to tell you, the American people might start screaming for another party sooner rather than later, because it's pretty incredible what we're not getting done right now.
Well, I love the bill that you co-sponsored. Again, it's called Protecting People from Surprise Medical Bills Act. This is co-sponsored by like 15 Democrats and Republicans. It's the Ruiz-Roe bill. And basically what it does is it puts patients ahead of big insurance companies. That's the gist of it, and it's going to protect patients from unfair and expensive surprise medical bills, which is I'm trying to bring attention to, because when you put this out there, yeah, we have to, because it's hurting people. I mean, I got caught up in it. I've told this story 100 times on the air the past month. I got a procedure done, and I don't know. I guess I went out of network. I don't even know what happened. All of a sudden, I get in the mail a $5,700 bill from the hospital. I had no idea that I was getting that. Now, I couldn't pay it, so then I got to get a lawyer. Then I get a judgment. Then they want to garnish my bank account. Yeah, all this is happening, and I'm like, what the hell did I do? I paid my insurance. I paid my deductible, and so this is the nonsense that goes on. And I've gotten so much of this from people. But the big thing is, rate setting is not the answer, and I think your bill is the right one to go, and it's just sitting there.
It's sitting there. There's another one, John, and look at what we've talked about, John. We've talked about USMCA surprise billing, right? Real bills, which we should be talking about every day for people.
Real bills.
A third one, real bills. A third one people don't understand, and I'm pulling my hair out. We have a student loan debt bill that allows employers to deduct wages of employees tax-free to pay back their student loans. You think that bill is going to go anywhere either?
No.
Because, again, when this happens, everybody is going as far left or as far right to their base that they can go, and I get it, right? I'm an intelligence officer. I read the Ukraine transcript. It's ridiculous that we're looking at impeachment right now. There's no proof. I mean, and that's why I say, if you want to open the aperture and go all in, go all in. But have real proof. Don't do the same thing, this slow rollout, this political rollout to keep it in the news as long as you can before the election cycle. That's what this is about. That is what this is about. And anybody who says otherwise is being disingenuous. They're simply being disingenuous. So if there's real proof, bring it out. If Schiff colluded, please bring that out. If Schiff was talking to the specific whistleblower using classified means, I want to know. Was his staff doing it? Where's the Volcker transcripts? Be transparent. Let people like me that are serving the people see the evidence. And right now you have the Democratic leadership becoming just less and less transparent while we have real bills that me and you discussed that are sitting there dying, to be honest with you. They're just dying. And I just am frustrated about it, and I think a lot of people are frustrated on the floor about what's happening.
Well, because we can't get anything done. And you look at this and the fact that the whistleblower went apparently to Schiff or his staff, and then Schiff got involved in it and helped craft the language and then coordinate it with the media. I mean, could you imagine if a Republican had done this? The entire Washington press corps would be going absolutely crazy right now. Apoplectic.
What if it was,
no question.
Apoplectic. What if it was Doug Collins, the head of the judiciary, right? Or what if it was Devin Nunes? Think about that when he was the intel chair. What if it was Nunes' staff that had conversations with a whistleblower underneath, say, President Obama? Oh my goodness. We would be going through almost. You talk about nuclear winter, right? It would be, the press would be all over it. But right now they're completely quiet about it, and I think that's what's happening. Is people don't want to really know the facts. They like the clickbait type of reporting that's going on right now. And there's nobody reporting on the collision between the Espionage Act, 18 USA 798, which is the disclosure, right, of classified information, unauthorized disclosure of classified information, and the Whistleblower Act. They conflict. And so now you have these primary sources that were sitting in the actual meeting with President Trump. They didn't think it met the threshold. So a secondary source did. Just explain it to me. How is that? Why did it take 18 days to get that out? Why was unclassified articles, why were they sourced in a whistleblower complaint from an intelligence operative? That doesn't make any sense to me as an intelligence guy. So let's get down to the bottom of it. And by the way, if we're not going to be transparent, if they're not going to do that, let's get some real bills to the floor and let's stop the nonsense. But again, I really believe they think if they don't impeach, that President Trump is going to win. And I think this is about the 2020 election all the way down the line.
But you really don't believe right now, do you believe that Nancy Pelosi is going to have a vote on the hearing or not?
I don't think she will. I don't see it. I think they're going to wait. They're going to wait for polling. Listen, if there's some kind of, they're going to go all on polling. That's what they're going to do, whatever, and they're going to try to manipulate it that way.
Right. So now we're going to get the fake polls are going to come out, and you're going to get the fake polls along with the fake news, and all the fake polls are going to say, there was one that came out the other day, 59% of people want to see Trump impeached. I pose this question. You go to any venue right now, Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, buy a hot dog, go on the street, Walmart, gas station. You ask 10 people if Trump should be impeached. You are not going to get 6 that say absolutely get him out of office. You might get 1.
I'm on the ground. Get 2. I'm on the ground, John.
It's like nonsense.
It's nonsense.
Baloney.
It really is. It's baloney. Nonsense. And I think that's what is interesting to me is that I think it's almost 50-50 now for impeachment or not impeachment. I think they're really poll watching at this point. I don't think they care about what is happening with the American people. They care about re-elections in each of their districts. And the real honest statement I believe that people need to know is that we talk about the leadership of the Democratic Party, but Pelosi really is sort of dancing to the far left of her party right now. She can't get out of that loop. And I think your next speaker, if the Democrats win the House in 2020 again, I think your next speaker might not be Pelosi. I think she's trying to protect her job. I think that's her issue, is how does she protect her job? How does she not bring a vote to the floor? Then how does she protect the 31 districts that were Trump districts that were won by Democrats? That's where she's at. And the far left knows they have her. They're going to continue this. It's not going to stop. So you're going to have people that aren't afraid to tell the truth, people that are fact-based, people that are common sense-based, people that maybe don't have political backgrounds, people that have been military or business. Those people have to stand up and say, okay, the reason we ran was not to do this again. The reason we ran was to serve based on our constitutional duties and responsibilities. That has to happen. That's why I'm here. And by the way, John, win or lose, I'm going to do the best I can to serve. This is a service job, not a career for me. So it just gives me some independence and some freedom to do the right thing regardless.
I've only got 1 more minute. That's it. But I've got to get your take on the president's decision to not engage in Syria and stand in the way of Turkey's incursion into southern Syria. What say you on that? You've got 1 minute.
Oh, my goodness. I think what people needed to understand there is not the fact that there were enemies and foes with the American troops, and there weren't many, but were there with the glue that sort of stopped some of these incursions and things that were going on. What surprised me, and by the way, I understand President Trump's promise, right, to remove troops from these never-ending wars, what people call them. My question is, who's fought in these never-ending wars? I'm one of them. I understand that goal and that objective. I would say, and it's not really, it's a gripe, is that I think as far as strategic planning, we should have had some kind of overwatch plan or no-fly zone plan or kept advisors on the ground while we had. If we're going to draw down, let's do it in a very specific and methodical way. I don't trust Erdogan when he's buying S-400 surface-to-air missile systems from Russia. When he's buying equipment from Russia, you have to scratch your head. Is he a real NATO ally? I don't have a lot of trust about Turkey based on my intelligence background. So it was a surprise to me that we didn't have more of a strategic plan or a mission plan for withdrawal. And I believe when you leave a quick vacuum, sometimes people will take advantage of that. And I think you're seeing that right now with Turkey.
Denver Riggleman, we're out of time. Thank you for being with us. I really appreciate it. Denver Riggleman, more information, go to, what's your website again?
So if you want to go campaign, it's denverforcongress.com, pretty easy. If you want to go, it's Denver Riggleman at it's mail.house.gov for my official website. And my Twitter is Rep Riggleman, so you can go to Rep Riggleman or Denver #4 VA on the campaign side. You know all the weird laws, John. I got to separate the campaign side with the congressional side. So
Denver,
yeah, you can find me out there.
Denver4VA is his campaign website.com. Denver, thanks for being with us.